Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner here of Sylphid, we have the teal Zerg player. We have the SC2 Zerg. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Brood War Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. So let us go. We are once again loading into Sylphid. Once again, this is a 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in top side, right side, and left-hand side as well. 3 possible spawn locations. From here, we're going to be opening up, and we'll see how Cure does handle himself. Again, Cure, this is not his first time playing StarCraft Evolution, but I would say that he hasn't really played too much of it, and I myself am not as familiar with his preferred style in StarCraft Evolution either. I don't really know how well versed he is when it comes to the meta, when it comes to the tendencies, when it comes to the typical play styles here in SC Evo. So I'm curious to see how he does handle himself, how he does play, how he does approach the game itself. Show us what you got. So far CC first. Looks like he has been watching some Beyond. Beyond is very fond of CC first, especially on the Sylphid. I mean, all Terran players are. So CC first into, do we go for a 3-racks follow-up? Do we go for extra racks? The answer is yes. He knows how to 3-rack stim. Yeah, that's all you, to be fair. To be fair, I mean, this is the only build you need to really know in all 3 matchups. True. Smudge. As here we go. We have all 3 racks on the way into the academy, into stim. I believe that 3rd rack is a little bit faster than usual. I mean, that's fine. It's fine, especially with the CC first. So we're kind of building up into our 3 racks into our stim timing. We'll see if Solar is familiar with the defense. I believe we have seen him hold against this with SC2 Zerg. Typically, you can there are multiple different defenses. For now, he is going gasless though. Ooh, hatch, pull, hatchery into a delayed gas out of Solar. So later link speed most likely means roaches. We speak of this all the time, but whenever a Zerg player does lay their gases quite heavily, it usually means fast lair or fast roach warren or fast both. And it would make sense for Solar to embrace roaches here. He will get across the map, he will scout the faster CC, and if he gets eyes on the Raxes, then that would prompt roach play, which is a secure way to defend against this. From here we have the academy now done. The sound effects. Let's go. Stim has begun. We're massing up our Marines. And there it is, no surprises here, roach warren out of Solar. As we mentioned, the gasless openers typically lead into roaches and typically lead into fast lair. I will say that we're going for a roach warren before a lair here, so this means that roach speed is going to be more delayed, which means that Solar's going to have a harder time counterattacking if he does have a successful defense. The faster lair would have indicated faster roach speed and a faster commitment after the defense into basically Solar's own all-in. But that is not the case here. But one of 3 points best wins in like a year, if I recall correctly. I think I would agree, but that's also because 3 point has been less active this year. I mean, 3 points been less active this year, but there's also been less StarCraft Evolution tournaments this year as well, so it all kind of goes hand in hand. But yeah, we have been seeing less 3 point in 2026 than we have in 2025. For sure. As Curie does commit across the map, he gets spotted. Roach production has begun. And Curie, upon seeing the roaches, he backs off. Really mature decision. Very, very mature. Does spot the roaches. He understands that Solar should be perfectly fine. Cure, he pulls away. Behind this, the lair only just now begins, and Solar cannot really counterattack. He's stuck at home. Stuck droning. Likewise, Cure is also going to be building up as well. get into his factory follow-up, and I'm excited to see how does Cure approach the mid game. Once again, as I mentioned before, Cure, he is less experienced in StarCraft Evolution. This initial build, I mean, is very meta, is very meta, and I mean, we see it all the time. So clearly Cure has been watching or speaking to Byun, and we'll see what the follow-up is going to be, as it is going to be the eBay into +1 into a bio follow-up. Okay, we have seen players like Byun go into mech transitions from here, but not Cure. That's him in. Yeah, Sims in, does catch out one of the roaches. He gets one, he gets two, but he cannot break the main army. Yeah, he has to respect this, he has to pull away. That's what 3 roaches going down. 3 roaches for Marines. Roach speed has now begun for Solar, and this is my biggest concern here. Roach speed is now on the way, and once it finishes, Solar can start to be aggressive and start to be active and push out, and I'm concerned that Cure won't have enough to defend. A lot of it comes down to his siege line. He needs to build up those tanks. We have siege mode on the way, more tanks in production. We do have a second factory here in production as well, which will help. He needs a very tank heavy composition to defend against mass roach. It's very different to SC2. In SC2 you can get away with bio because of the Marauder, but in Brood War there is no Marauder, right? So you're forced to get into tanks. Likewise, no salvage, smudge. Kills the bunker. It's now setting up. Or he can't do mass overseers in Evolution. Oh no. I mean, he doesn't do mass overseers in SC2 anymore either. Like, that's very... Unfortunately, it's very outdated. It's a very outdated style and build. So let's back in. Tank is in position. And Cure holds. Once again, as we mentioned, it's crucial here that he does prioritize those tanks. Making 2 at a time, securing his base, securing his 3rd. Okay, and with that, we have some StarCraft. Like, we're getting into for the first time in weeks, we're getting into the mid game. We're getting there, where Cure, he's securing himself here on the high ground. I mean, partially, I would imagine it is stylistic as well, where players like Byun are a lot more active, a lot more aggressive, a lot more in your face. But Cure is happy to slow things down, build up his tank count. From here, the goal should be to work towards science vessels. Speaking of, there is a science facility to tech into vessels. Safety turret here to make sure there's no tunneling claw roaches. Speaking of, Solar does get ready for a backstab. Splits up his army. I mean, there is an opening here. Like, this is a bit of a weaker position for Cure. We'll see if Solar gets in. Ideally, Solar, he would want to distract with the main army to drag the bio forces over towards the right hand side. As that is a siege line, Jesus. And there's a radiate. Radiate's on the way, science vessels as well. Cure, he is building up. Scans revealing that the hive is now done, and it's still Ling main Roach Ravager into Viper tech. So Solar just securing his army, about to max out, and once he does, it's time to push. Now, are these tanks too clumped up? They are far behind, which will help. They're going to be a little bit more protected against the Vipers, but again, it's all about the blinding clouds. We're going to come in, mass blinding cloud, and then commit. You could also argue, and this is something that we see a lot from the other more experienced Terran players, and maybe Cure will do it here as well, but because there's no anti-air, you can be a little more cavalier with your science vessel to hunt down spellcasters, to push forward ahead of time and to look for infestors, look for Vipers, look for any high-tech unit to set up some irradiates. Bearing in mind that one irradiate will, I believe, kill a Viper. Like the duration of the irradiate, I mean. Meanwhile, we have our tunneling claw roaches. Remember, there's already a safety turret. We'll see if Cure can react in time. How many Vipers? We have 2. Okay, so 2 Vipers so far. We have the switch into mech, going into ion thrusters. Roach is a... Oh, try to move in. Ion thrusters on the way, spider mines as well. So I mentioned previously, if you recall at the beginning, how it's not too uncommon to go from the 3-axe opener into mech, but usually it's a faster transition. Here it was slower, just because we did fixate on pure tank. Pure tank first, then into vultures. Cure now taking another expansion. Going for his 4th base. I wonder if he notices. He was not able to build there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Roach is down burrow. Main army does move in. Mass flying cloud here on the fire. Bane's rolling in as well. Where's the reaction? Ooh. Yeah, no reaction there from Cure. And he's trying to hold the line. Radiant the Ravager. Not bad. The army's clumping. No. Yeah, the army does clump. Back across the map. The CC is going to be denied. And it's a laser command center. Oh, it's going to be difficult here for the vultures to engage with pure Roach. It does drag within range of the tank though. Okay, better fight. Yeah, better engage. There's the scan. The scan does go down. At the same time, main army does push in. A couple of tanks are exposed. Guess what? 3, 4. 4 tanks go down. Yeah, not enough vultures. Not enough vultures. Not enough defenses. Another 2 tanks full. Brutal damage. The tank on is reset. And Solar's done it. Yeah, Solar, he has done it. Again, Cure, he overreacted. I say overreacted. He had to overreact to the Roaches earlier. Sent everything over. That just created a massive opening here. This is critical damage. Ultras are getting to the mineral line. More SCV's going to be going down. And Cure, he is torn apart. I mean, this also shows just how vulnerable mech can be here. Referring to specifically the Vulture, like typically in SC2 you have tank and you have battle mech to support, to rotate between bases, but here against Roaches, Vulture rotations are not good enough. Like, you need to respond with tanks as well, as Vultures are they're very subpar against the Roach. So there is that kind of glaring weakness with the composition. So I would say the brutal mech can be punished that much harder as a result of that. True. And with that GG well played, Solar, he will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG well played. And again, like a very different kind of dynamic here is what I will say. Once again, like going into a Roach heavy style like this, which is common against mech in StarCraft 2, here when it comes to brutal defenses or brutal mech, it does seem to be a little bit more vulnerable to that, specifically in regards to rotations. As you mentioned, like Vultures, they do need tank support, which means that if you don't have your tanks pre-set up in a certain location, Vultures, yes, they can react, they can rotate in time, but they cannot hold their own in a head-on fight, whether it's against Roaches, whether it's against Ultras either. You could also argue that this is also partially on the late transition into Vulture, and as a result of that, there was no kind of Spider-Man setup either. That is true. If you remember, we were speaking on that, but it took a very, very long time for Cure to switch into ion thrusters, into Spider-Mines, into Vulture production, and as a result of that, we never had any kind of Spider-Man setup, which is quite a crucial part of Brutal Mech. True. True. And with that, GG well played. With that, Solar does take it. Game number 1 does take a lead in the series. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. Let's go. Gonna be loading into Radion. Okay, once again, a map that we don't get to see enough of. So I appreciate it. Do appreciate it. We're jumping in. Here we go. No Ghost and Zero can win Parkers. I mean, I was alluding a little bit more to lack of Cyclones or lack of support for the mech army. A little bit different. But here we go. Here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Radion, we have the Brutal Zerg player. The Brutal Zerg player himself, leading the series 1-0. It is Solar. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran, the SC2 Terran. For Team Liquid, it is Cure. Here we go. We do have our initial setup. We do have our initial game number 2 here. Welcome to Radion. Radion is a 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in top right, bottom left, and top left as well. So 4 possible spawn locations. We have our 4 spawns, and we do have close spawns as well. It is going to be horizontal spawns here between Solar and Cure. They will both soon encounter each other here. Cure, he's aware that there's no cross spawn location at least, so is Solar, and they will eventually find each other. Eventually will. Overlord will encounter Cure. And Cure should be feeling a little more comfortable playing now SE2. A lot more comfortable. And again, we'll see if Solar's experience can carry him through this. I do give the edge to Cure now that he can kind of get into a zone. I can play some StarCraft. We'll see. For now, racks expand, stay that open out of Cure. Likewise, we have our hatch gas pool out of Solar. Everything's looking normal so far. SV moves out, Overlord does scout, and I believe Cure, he may have seen the Overlord. Regardless, the SV will confirm. And that is a fast second racks. Do we go for 3 racks again? Do we? We're leading towards a 2-on-1 at this point, but we might see a 3 racks. We might even go for an all-in and go for a 4 racks. Because those close spawns. Third base is spotted, not delayed. I'm curious, do we go for the factory or another racks? Yeah, as Cure does back in. Pokes in, zones away. And Solar force invest into earlier links. And will zone this back. Zinks are out, die mining at the natural. Reaper does rotate, no drones yet, thankfully. Oh, as link speed is more than halfway down, and Cure, I'm sure he's aware of the timing, but he has to be careful. He has to be careful. He has to respect link speed. Once again, denies mining. And does he get the drone? He does not. Doesn't get the worker. Cure, he has to get out of here. Link speed is done in 12 seconds. And commits to the dive. It is going to be a 2-on-1, by the way. It is going to be the factory follow-up. So 2-on-1 sim timing here out of Cure. And in general, 2-on-1s, they do feel like they hit a little bit harder here in this matchup in StarCraft Evolution. We'll see if Solar can hold his own, as he's going for the fast Evo chamber into fast pulse and carapace. So there's no fast lair. We are going for now Hydra Tech as well. And with the Link stat, he should confirm. Yeah, he does spot the extra Marines, he knows. He's now aware that this is either a 2-on-1 or a 3cc 2-on-1 or a 3 racks. He's narrowing down the builds. Regardless, it is going to be a stim timing. And Solar's going to be careful. Fast pulse and carapace will help, for sure. Will help. Here come the medevacs. Here comes the push. Again, Solar, he does need Hydras to defend. I mean, I would say Hydras or side defense. One or the other. And he's going for, of course, Hydras. Getting the Hydra speed upgrade as well. As here comes the 2-on-1. We're holding off on it. There we go. Waiting for 60 Marines, and now we can boost. Now we can boost across. Back at how many Hydras are there? 7. Soon to be 9. Okay, so there's going to be 9 Hydras. They're rallying here between the bases. Meanwhile, the drop goes straight into the natural. Does go straight in. Links are deflected. First run goes down. And we have to be very careful with these Hydras. Hydra speed does finish up just in time. And does deflect. Not bad. He has enough Hydras. Solar does have enough. And Solar holds. Solar, he does hold on. Lair is now done. Lurker production is now on the way. Getting into Lurker tech. And Cure, so far, this has not been worth it. We need more damage. Remember, Cure, he sacrificed, he delayed his 3rd base for this. And he's even going for extra Raxes. Okay, this is a borderline 2 base all-in. This should be a 3CC by now. Let's pick up a Hydra. Dancing with the army. That's Ventral Sax, correct? I remember we were like, wait, what? It's a bit of a newer art model or art graphic, but I believe that is Ventral Sax. Ready for some Dropper Lords? Yeah, we know, Pap, we know. Screw does move in. Solar for the most part is in position, does react in time. Yeah, losing only 2 drones. 2 drones go down. Now, my concern here is that Solar has to be careful not to be overly aggressive when it comes to his eventual counterattack. Remember, Cura's 2 base all in. Like, Cura, he's getting more Maxes, no 3rd CC whatsoever. Like, Cura, he plans to end the game one way or the other. Either he kills Solar or he dies trying. If Solar invests a little bit too much to counterattack and to go for, like, some drop play, for example, that is going to hinder him. But now we have 10 Lurkers on the way, which is solid. He's massing up his army. Solar's still staying on a low drone count, which is concerning. As drop play continues. Lurkers are pushing forward. That means there's less to defend back at home. Solar getting caught out a little bit here. Drop comes in. Drone's going down. Solar, he does rotate back home. But the Lurkers are waddling back. They're going to be late to this. It's going to be a rough trade. Yeah, Cure, he punishes. Yeah, he punishes the Ducklings. Oof. Yeah, so many Lings going down. Dropping further into the main. Scanner reveals there's a Lurker in position, thankfully. Yeah, there is a Lurker. 3rd CC now begins for Cure. Starting up his 3rd base, starting up his Ghost production as well. There's that Ghost Academy. And again, Solar, he never really droned up. Oh my god, the efficiency. Takes another Hydra. Yeah, 2 Hydras going down as well. Nice pickoffs out of Cure. Nice pickoffs. Cure is just gaining more value, trading more efficiently. And again, Solar cannot afford these losses here. Every Hydra goes down. Yeah, bleeds out all the Hydras. Even here, losing another. Distracting the Hydras. Oof. Jumping back into the main. And Cure is gaining more ground. Gaining more ground, building further up. Getting ready for his main push. Scourge will help when it comes to Liberators at least, and Cure is not moving out. Never mind, he's expanding. This does give Solar a bit of an opportunity. What Solar has been able to do is preserve his Lurker count at least, right? He's been building up his Lurker count, and Cure is going to spread himself thin, assuming no, never mind. Assuming he was going to settle defensively, but no, he's pushing. He is pushing. Cure is going for his main push. Does spot the army. Yeah, we'll siege in time. Lings, they will be able to counterattack, but I don't really see Solar breaking this position. He's going for the surround. He's coming in. Yeah, he does come in. Tanks are exposed, and he gets all 4. Yeah, all 4 tanks will go down. Nice flank here by Solar. Very nice. Whew. He does clean up the tank line. At the same time, 9 SCVs go down. This is critical damage. Ta-da! Okay, just going for the depots. Going for something more secure. And breaks down the depots. Solar, he does push. And now Cure, he's hurting. Down a purely bio, just bio. Marine Ghost. Tanks are getting in position. Forcing the dive. Solar, he gets one tank just barely. There's one tank left. Oh my god, he had massive lurker shots. Lurkers, they punish the bio. Brutal trades. The final tank barely. No, one more shot. He gets it. Barely goes down. And you can see Solar, he's barely breaking through here. He has to send so much just to kill one tank. The snipes. Oof. Punishing the lurkers. Late reaction by Solar. Yeah, late reaction. Down to 5 lurkers. Only 5 left. Oh, massive spine shots going up. Oh, but the lurkers are going down. Yeah, it's just too much. It's just too much here. Again, Curie still had the better economy for longer. He does overwhelm. He's still saturating his third. Soul's in trouble. He's hurting back. Soul just trying to commit in. Catching out one more ghost. One more ghost goes down. I'm loving the incorporation of Scourge. We saw them earlier deal with the Liberators, but now they can actually be a part of the main army. Potentially. But again, the game state is very tense. Oh, the Scourge. They try to come in. Nice unload. Oh, does go back in. We'll lose one of the Medivacs. Does lose one. I believe that was the that was the final Scourge. Soul's taking more bases. Is now somewhat droning up. Massing on more Hydra Lurker. And goes to another rotation. When it comes to the tank count, it's still only one tank. Oof. Yeah, Kuriki has not been able to rebuild. Second factory just now on the way. So, oh, Jesus. The snipes, though. Who needs tanks when you have mass ghosts? Snipe away, baby. Snipe away. Yeah, it's a meat grinder. It's brutal. That was happening. There was 8 Hydras going down. Oh, dragging the army within range of lurkers. Despite that, lurker does get picked off. They end up trading. They trade mass knives. They punish the Hydras. They punish the lurkers. They punish everything. And Cure overwhelms. Yeah, it's so much more difficult to deal with Master Lurker here as the brutal Zerg player. Lurk is activated. Cure breaks through. It does feel like you need defilers against something like this, but even then, it's not a sure thing. GG gets called, and Cure, he does have the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a very low eco, a very scrappy game here between both Solar and Cure. As we were pointing out, so we did notice that Solar, he was very adverse to droning. Even when he had map control, he was not droning up much at all, so he had a really low economy. That's why things were so scrappy and so close between the players, and so low eco, and so low tech as well. At least from Solar, he was not able to get into hive tech, not able to get into defilers or anything else. He was stuck with his more mid-tier army instead. Trying and failing to end the game early, and with that, we're getting into the ace match. Let's go. Going into game 3. Going into game 3. But again, very scrappy. Very, very scrappy. As game 3 is going to be on Vermeer. Yeah, we go. Vermeer being another 4+4 map, true. Another 4+4 map. And we have cross spawns. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Vermeer, we have the Teal Zerg player himself. We have the South Korean Zerg being forced into that series and does opt to play SC2 Zerg. It is Solar. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player. We have the Brutal Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. Here we go. Point proven. If you maybe are a little bit newer to StarCraft, or if you weren't watching the games previously, as we mentioned before, like the Ghost had nothing to do with the first game. We were referring to the supportive army for the mech composition that Cure had, and here in game 2, I would emphasize a little bit more the fact that Solar, he was staying on a very low income. He was very adverse to droning, even when he had map control, even when he had momentum. He was staying on a very low drone count, and likewise was adverse to it expanding as well. So he wasn't able to make use of the full kind of breadth of Zerg when it comes to building up a swarm of an army and overwhelming his opponent. At no point did Solar ever really have a supply lead. Like, he was always like barely keeping up with Cure, as Cure had the more efficient army and Solar had the weaker economy, despite, I feel like, having opportunities to build up a greater economy and saturate. So if I failed to properly convey that, do apologize. I'll do better. Here we go. Here we go. From here, we are going to be going for our CC first into 3-Rax follow-up. Oh, este CranKy. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. Wouldn't say I'm new. Oh, okay. Well, then you don't have that excuse. Smurge, baby, smurge. Hopefully I was able to explain the game state well to you. And again, if not, then I'll do better. From here, we're going for our initial faster +1. Okay, this is a bit of a more unique variation here. Usually we're used to seeing our initial 2-Rax open into a 3-Rax into a sim timing, but here it looks like we are building up into something a little bit greater, working towards +1. Checking Cure's vision, no SCV scout. No SCV scout, so he's not fully aware of the location of his opponent. It is going to be cross spawn, so Cure, he does have the freedom to actually get into earlier upgrades and not be punished for it. That is true. So faster +1 into stim. Faster +1 into stim. And staying on a lower Rax count instead. So we're kind of leading towards a longer game state here from the beginning. We're not going for any kind of earlier sim timing that we're used to seeing. Not as early as, again, a 3-Rax. Likewise, Solar, he's joining up. Once again, Solar should be feeling a lot more comfortable now, embracing his SC2 side, his SC2 Zerg. You can see he's searching for Cure. Has found him. Check him with ninja bases. Fair enough. Does check. That is a very early Bailey nest. Okay. I mean, to be fair, he doesn't really know what build he's up against. So this is a very safe play. Very safe play here by Solar. As you would often get your nest much later. Does poke in. As a reminder, we have later racks here, earlier factories. So I'm curious, like this build that we're seeing here by Cure, we don't often see from any of the other Terran players. Referring to Byan, referring to Honmono. I mean, there aren't many other top Terrans. Referring to Kiwian and Tasia before him as well. You know what it is? Personally, I feel like because Cure, he's not like in SC Evo anywhere near as much, and he's not like indoctrinated into the meta, right? He's not like as engrossed. We have been actually getting some more longer mid-game play from Cure, which is quite rare, right? It's very, very rare. This is something that we've been discussing a lot and bringing up a lot when it comes to covering StarCraft Evolution tournaments, is that we see a lot of aggression, a lot of all-ins, a lot of shorter games. But Cure, he's been going for later timing attacks, later timings. He's been going for more robust kind of secure setups, and he's been a lot less aggressive. because of that, he's actually forcing longer games, which I appreciate. I appreciate it. I feel like because he's a little bit more disconnected with SC Evo, like he's more willing to explore. We appreciate it, Pappy. It might also just be a stylistic thing as well. Like here, he is less, like, even in SE2, he is like typically less aggressive than Björn. And more willing to slow things down. That could be another factor, of course. From here, we're going into that mech switch. So extra factories, ion thrusters, irradiate. I will say that compared to game one, between these two players, this is a much faster switch into ion thrusters and into vultures. That was one of our criticisms, if you recall, when it comes to his supportive army to his tanks, how he did go for a late transition into vulture tech, and as a result, he didn't really have any minefield setup. Here, much earlier. Much earlier. You could argue that because it's cross spawns, like there's less importance and there's less pressure to build up his tank count, as he has more freedom. At the same time, Solar, he's rushing into Hive tech. That's the other issue here, is that Solar, he's free to rush into Hive and free to get into his spellcasters, free to drone. Like, we already have 71 workers, 73 even. And fun fact, Solar, he never touched this amount of workers last game. Like, he never got close. He never got close. So already Solar, he has better saturation than he did previously in game 2. He already has a stronger economy. Hive is finishing up. And we'll see if this is just for Vipers or if we plan on incorporating some Ultras as well. As here come the initial Vipers. So far, Solo fighting for map control, zoning back here. Here, he is secure on 3 bases, that is true, but Solar, he's soon to max out. Again, the supply is lying to you. Because Solar, he's already up to 84 workers, now we can focus and fixate purely on army production. And we'll soon max, he can soon push, and it's going to be a difficult defense here for Kieran. Now, setting up, what do we have? We have some decent SimCity. We have how many tanks so far? We have 4, soon to be 7 tanks. So he's setting up a siege line. He's going to have irradiate. Irradiate is done. He's setting up all his spider mines. Again, he has to turtle up as best he can. Even then, I don't know if it's going to be enough. Well, he's doing his best to turtle. Lurker tech. Okay, that I was not expecting. Interesting. Going to lurkers, into Nidus. I would say that it's going to be difficult to break a turtling player with lurkers. Obviously, I believe the plan is going to be to Nidus into the main. That can work. Lurkers won't help with the main assault. There it is. Solar, he's maxed. He's just waiting for his reinforcements. And we'll see what Solar can get done. There is an opening here on the top side. Only, what, 3 spider mines? 4. Overseer slowly pushing in. Hydras, they lead the charge, cleaning up all the mines. Here comes the Link Bane. Does try to commit. Yeah, Blinding Cloud onto all the tanks. Lings, they don't quite break through. And the tanks are holding. Yeah, the tanks are holding. Sure, he does defend. So far, so good. Yeah, he does hold on, does defend. There's only 1 Viper left. And now it's time to do that again. Time to do it all over again. The goal here for Solar is just ensure Cure never expands. If Cure can never get a 4th base, and Solar can just keep rebuilding, remaxing, and do that over and over again, and eventually break through. Eventually. Bearing in mind that this time there is going to be a Nidus Worm. There's going to be a Nidus, and speaking of Nidus, yep, there we go. Overseer into the main base. There are no safety turrets in the main either, so we're setting up for the Nidus. Setting up for that Nidus Worm. Ooh, oh my god. Massive spider mines. Yeah, spider mines are popping up. Solar remaxing, going for the Spire. I'm curious if this is for the Greater Spire. Maybe he's thinking about a Broodlord transition. Or at least just having the tech available. Which would be more efficient. Like again, pushing into this entrenched line of tanks is ill-advised. To the point where it might even not be worth it, to be honest. It might just be worth it for Solo to literally take every other base on the map and just wait for Cure to push. As vultures are getting caught out. Vultures are getting caught. They do get behind the mineral line. They get a couple of drone kills. Leagues, they come in for the surround. Oof. And here comes the attempted fourth. And that should activate Solar. Does see the would-be fourth base. Cure's trying to break out. Here comes the Nidus. Here comes the backstab. And Cure, does he notice? He doesn't. He does not notice the Nidus. Yeah. Do we have any lurkers? We do. 7 lurkers about to be morphing in. Diving into the main. Lurkers I should unburrow. Here they come. Yeah, here they come. Oh no! The irradiate! Yeah, brutal damage on the Hydras. It was just a distraction. Lurkers, they get on top of the production. They try to at least. And they get on top of the starports. Yeah, starports are going to be on fire. Force to evacuate, force to lift. Radiate's coming in. And Solar, he's trying to get on top of those tanks, but he just barely cannot. At this point, we're smashing our head against a brick wall. Whereas what we could be doing here is getting a second Spire. A second Spire, a Greater Spire, and start to actively work towards, like, actually set up for Broodlords. Lings are being thrown away. I want that second Spire. I would. Instead of going for the Ultra Cavern, which is also kind of like smashing your face against a brick wall. Ultras are built to try to break these siege lines and tank all the tank shots. Against this many tanks, though, I don't know if Ultras are going to be enough. Like, there are just so many tanks. Corruptors are on the way. That will help against the... I almost said Overseers. Against the Science Vessels. We got 99 drones for Solar. Let's go. And now Cure's exposing herself. Now's the time. Lings collapse in. They get 1, they get 2. 1, 2, almost 3 tanks going down. But Solar, he threw away so much earlier. Now he has a weaker army, and this means that Cure expands. And this should not have happened. This should not have happened, but this is thanks to Solar, right? Because Solar lost so much earlier, that means he cannot punish. It means he cannot punish. He doesn't have as much map control as he did previously. Cure, he was just waiting for Solar to take a bad fight, and he did. Took a bad fight. We have 100 drones. Jesus. At this point, I would say we have too many workers. The 100 drones does mean that Solar's main army is smaller. It's now a much smaller main army. Goliaths are coming online. The other worrisome thing here is that Solar didn't take the nearby bases. Typically, if you're up against a turtling player like this, you need, I say you need to, you desperately, it benefits you to take the nearby expansions and to take resources away from Cure. Because the reality is, eventually Cure will take those expansions. So the less resources he has available to him, the better off you're going to be. As Hydras, they lunge forward. Nidus into the main is going to finish. But there's an army in position. Yeah, units are in position. Cure, he defends the front lines. So I would say it's a mistake here for Solar to not take this base, for example. Like this base right outside of the bases of Cure. Same with center left. Like these 2 bases should have been prioritized. And because they weren't, they're just fresh mining bases. Same with all these bases bottom left. Like these bottom left bases needed to have been taken. Because they weren't. They're basically all Cure bases. They're all Cure expansions. And Cure, he's getting out of hand at this point. He's getting out of hand, getting out of control. Would you see the Solar he's remaxing with Ultras? Which can work if Solar can catch Cure unsieged. Can work. Yeah, that's jeez, oh my Spirit, is that you? Be out there. Aye, going in a mass Goliath here. That is actually gonna hurt Cure. He's down to, I mean, he still has 17 tanks. Jesus. It's a high tank count. Ultras are coming from behind, tanks are spread thin. Massive radiate. Radiates 2 Ultras so far. Defense mage still in tank. Let's go. Yeah, he'll be able to tank up. Goliaths take Kai back, but again, they're not ideal against Ultras. And he's going to be cleaned up here. Yeah, the Ultras, they overwhelm the Goliaths. Heavy losses for Cure. Again, it looked like Cure was blind countering Broodlords. I would assume. I would assume he was trying to blind counter Broodlords. Overmade Goliaths. Overmade them. Solar has momentum. He's moving in. Tanks are exposed. Tanks are unsieged. Oh my god. Getting 1, 2. Do we get 3? Not quite. Yeah, but 2 tanks go down. And now Cure's stuck at home. Due to all those losses, Curie's going to be stuck at home, stuck turtling up again. Ooh, as he unsieged everything. Yeah, he did unsiege the entire army. Now he's exposed back at home. Now there are openings. There are ways in. Here come the Zerglings. Cure, he doesn't have the supply, not anymore. Yeah, Lings are flooded into the mineral lines. SCV's going to be going down. As Ultras they break through. They're breaking on through. They're getting some more tanks. It's going to be 1 more tank going down. Just 1. Oh, no mass. And due to all these better fights that Soul's been taking, Cure, he's struggling. He's struggling. He plummets in supply. He's time to rebuild. Bottom left is exposed. And Solar, is he aware? No, he doesn't know. I was curious. I was a little bit confused. I was like, why is the space still up and running? What's going on? He doesn't know, Pap. Doesn't know.
Forces are under attack.
Otherwise, that would be a free mineral line. Solo looking for a way in. Once again, still relying on a heavy Ultra composition. Lings, they slip into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. Massive radiate. Oh my god. Gee. I mean, Ultras, they can tank. They can somewhat take it. Likewise, the counter power bomb as well. Let's go. Battle of spellcasters. Radiate versus power bomb. Ultras are being thrown away. Solo's rotating. Solo, he's still maxed out. I still think it is scary that Solo is not taking the nearby expansions. It just means that if Cure does stabilize, that he has free bases available to him. Full bases, more importantly. Full fresh bases available. That is a scary thought. Lings A rotates. This southern base has nothing to defend. Finally, he finds it. Yeah, Solo, he does find it. Does commit. Ultras, they commit in. And he's getting on top of the tanks. He's getting on top. That's what, 3 tanks going down at the same time. Lings, they do flood into the mineral line. Every SCV will fall. Again, there's just nothing to defend. Free expansion, free mineral line. "17 SCV kills. And so he's going for again that top side. Thanks to someone in position. Oh, we're going into Goliath. No! Solar throws away 5 full dropper lords. Ay, ay, ay. That was how many? Yeah, so many links do go down. Not like this. Massive radiate. Solar, he does plummet in supply. Gonna be losing everything. Okay. Curie's back in this. Okay, Curie, he's back in this. Solar does not have a bank. Curie, he's resaturating. Solar, he just plummets in supply. Once again, rotating to the south side, looking for a way in. This time we actually have a minefield set up. Have a minefield. Roach speed? The 21 tech switch into roaches. Let's go, baby, let's go. He's switching it up. And this is where our criticism of Solar is actually coming to fruition. We spoke earlier how it was crucial that Solar takes these bottom left-hand bases, and because he didn't, now these are fresh, incredibly fresh bases here for Cure. He's got everything. So 2 fresh bases available. Q, he rotates over. Does land a couple of radiates. Go 3, 4 radiates. Goliath a punish. Solar tries to commit in. Not enough lightning clouds. Oh no! Yeah, not enough lightning clouds. Massive punish on the Hydras. So many Hydras go down at the same time. We have a Nidus for him, but alas, Cure, he was paying attention. Shuts down the Nidus. Now the Nidus further back into the pocket base. Okay, into bottom left. This Nidus will finish, as there is no vision. Oh god, so we're just throwing away Zerglings. No! Stop the unload, Pappy, stop it. We're just deleting resources. Oh god. As Nidus Worm is going to be cleaned up. All those Zerglings as well. Okay, a couple of Ultras pop out towards the end. Let's go. Catching out a couple of SCVs. Yeah, Solar commit starts find some free tanks here. 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks going down. Nice pickups. I mean, Roaches are doing a much better job when it comes to engaging, catching out so many tanks here. Oh my god, nice defense matrix. Does save them barely towards the end, but better trades here for Solar. And GG gets called. Solar, he runs out of steam, he has no bank, and Cure will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Once again here, Solar, he tunnel vision so much this game. Solar, he was in the lead. He had momentum, of course. I'm still thinking about like 20 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago when Solar was containing Cure on 3 bases. And if you recall, we were criticizing Solar for being overly aggressive and for just ramming his face against a brick wall and being hyper inefficient. He did have full map control and he was taking up a little bit. If you recall, we were waiting for his tech switch into Broodlords, but he never did. He never did tech switch into Broodlords. He's still stuck with a very heavy ground-based composition, throwing away a bunch of supply, going into lurkers, going into ultras thereafter, but maybe even greater than all of that, so you can still maybe even get away with that if you're able to take the bases from your opponents. But once again, we saw that Solar, he was also tunnel visioning too much and maybe thought the game wouldn't last that long, but he never did take the bases on Cure's side of the map, despite having control of the entire area for like a solid 10 minutes. Like, he had full map control, but didn't fully take advantage of that. Again, maybe just a little bit too overconfident. Maybe believing that the game wouldn't actually get to that kind of game state, and maybe believing that Cure would never be able to break out. But he did. Cure, he eventually did break out from his 3-base contain, took his 4th base, and then snowballed out of control from there. GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations, Cure. He will claim the series. He will advance on into those semis. Let's go.